But anyway, Anton Fuqua.
Yeah, who is in his own world of hurt right now with the Michael Jackson biopic. We should honestly cover that on the next stream, just all the insanity surrounding that.
I'm very down. I read that one article that you sent me, but other than that, I'm not super familiar with the biopic. It's honestly, it sounded kind of cringe the way that they pitched it in that article I was reading, where they're basically trying to say Michael Jackson didn't do anything wrong, was the sense that I got. But anyway.
Yeah, I mean, basically the Jackson family made a deal with one of his accusers like 10 or 15 years ago that in a settlement that they would never depict him in film or in anything related to Michael Jackson. His likeness, his name, his story would not be depicted. And then they greenlit this movie and signed off on the script for this movie that's supposed to come out this year called Michael, which is a biopic of Michael Jackson that almost exclusively deals with that accuser. It all takes place in 1993. The film supposedly starts with the accusation being made, and the last act of the film is entirely concerned with the trial and the media circus surrounding the allegation.
And making him look innocent.
Right. But they just now realized, after the movie has already been shot for $150 million, that's a huge fucking amount of money, guys. They just realized that, oops, the whole thing that this movie is about, we aren't allowed to make a movie about. Therefore, they're going to have to basically reshoot the whole movie. They're going to have to rewrite the whole film, or at least the third act, do a ton of reshoots, all of which, by the way, are being paid for by the Michael Jackson estate because it was their fuck up. They failed to realize the issue when they cleared the script for Lionsgate. So now all the money to reshoot the movie is coming out of their pocket. It's going to result in a severely mangled final product, like from any thematic perspective, like, because I mean, there's having to redo the fucking movie. They had a script and now they're just gonna have to come up with a new one that's about something totally different.
I bet they just chop it up and make a Frankenstein movie, and I bet they do just try and, especially if it's coming out of the Jackson family pocket, they're gonna try and cheap out. They're going to bring in a Hollywood script doctor that tells them, oh, it's totally cool, we can keep the first half of the movie, and then they'll do script edits on the end. It's going to be dog shit. And honestly, I think it's poetic justice, because the one thing that really stood out to me was the audacity, right? You sent that article and they're talking about how they're going to make a movie about Michael Jackson being totally just caught up in, this scandal, and he was totally innocent, and all these people who were representing him took advantage of him, and he didn't really know, and they were actually just trying to steal his wealth, and they were trying to take down his career because of petty vengeance from this kid's dad. And it was going to make Michael Jackson look like a very sympathetic figure, and it was going to make the guy that they settled with, the guy that's, going to make sure that they never air that portion of the movie, they make him look like the villain. It's so crazy that you would be that dumb, that and that you'd be that foolish. And I think Michael Jackson's estate deserves to lose their ass over it.
Oh yeah. And again, it's just crazy from a legal perspective too. Like, the one condition, they had one fucking job, which was that they couldn't depict this accuser and tell that story in a film. And they were like, oops, we forgot about that one thing. That, like, what the fuck? How did this even get greenlit in the first place? It's genuinely one of the biggest mishaps in recent Hollywood history, in my opinion, especially because of how much money is on the line here. Like, this movie is going to make at least $1 billion probably when it comes out. Michael Jackson is a worldwide fucking phenomenon to this day. There's almost no bigger name in music still. Again, this movie's going to gross like $1 billion+. There's so much money on the line, and it's all fucked up now. So we'll see. We'll see how that turns out.
Yeah, they're denying that the film is in peril. They're insisting it's going to come out, which is crazy. And the last thing I wanted to kind of talk about is the fact that there might be a potential upswing, Gavin. That's what I wanted to get. There were people speculating online, and I think this is, I don't know, I don't have any reason to believe this is accurate at all, I should say, for everyone. But was there potentially an upswing for someone to oversee, like, to fuck this up on purpose? Because of what you said, it is like so obvious that this is something that couldn't be done. Like, was there a way that somebody could have been maliciously motivated to get this through so that it would blow up and, be a tremendous disaster? Because that's really cool to think about, but I haven't heard anything in specific relation to that.
I don't buy it, because this film was mostly cooked up by Michael Jackson's own estate. Like, it stars his freaking nephew or something in the lead role. Like, it stars literally someone who's biologically related to Michael Jackson. It's created by people that are sympathetic to Michael Jackson and want to, continue to profit off of his music and his legacy, to be honest. There's no reason for them to want to rehash this spectacle. In fact, I'm honestly even surprised that the biopic even addressed this at all. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised it addressed it at all. I kind of thought the biopic would just ignore the controversy and act like Michael Jackson was just this beloved celebrity that never had any issues. So it's interesting that they even decided to include that in the first place. But no, I don't see any reason why anyone involved in the creation of this movie, all of whom are sympathetic to Jackson and his estate, I don't see why any of them would have intentionally made this an issue. Like I said, specifically with this much money on the line, and now that the Jackson estate's going to have to pay for it themselves.
Yeah, it just seems like an absurd amount of incompetence for
Yeah.
there to not be somebody who was maliciously motivated. And obviously, sometimes that happens. Like sometimes the most obvious outcome is the, outcome, right? The most likely outcome is the outcome, whatever it is. But it kind of makes you wonder if you're like, did somebody get involved? Did somebody that was like, fuck this movie? I don't want to see it get made. This is bullshit that the Jacksons are doing this. How dare they slander this guy that they'd already settled with? How dare they try it? Basically, the reason you would tackle the sex scandal is obvious, is you're trying to sanitize Michael Jackson's legacy and you're trying to launder his reputation so that you can go on to greater profit off of him down the line. What they really want is to make Michael Jackson okay and safe again so that they can do more Michael Jackson Cirque du Soleil, so that they can do the Michael Jackson on Broadway, so that they can have the hologram Michael Jackson do, 365 days a year in 50 cities around the world for stadiums. And look, it's the real Michael Jackson. He's doing this, etc. That's what they want. So I'm wondering, the little lizard brain in the back of my head is going, this is fucking nuts. Did somebody say, I can't watch this happen? I'm going to, try my hand at fucking this up and see if they are so, up their own asses, if they are so blinded by greed, if they are just seeing the avalanche of revenue that's certainly going to come from this video or this movie. I'm just saying, I'm putting the thought in people's brain.
It's definitely possible. I'm excited to see the
and good for them if they did it. Is my last point.
Drama. Yeah, 100%.
Anyway, shout out to you, Das Bros Fleisch. Inspired a little bit of a segue conversation
for sure. Shout out to you, bro.
One of my hot takes back in the day that I had to retire was that Michael Jackson was innocent.